G'day, it's Russ here, and we're here today to talk about corn silage. As you can see, I'm standing in a chunk of a field that's actually been partially harvested. This is a corn hybrid research location for corn silage. It's managed by our corn research department at the Tavistock Research Station. It's right here on Line 4 in Perth County. Bryan Farm is just right across the road, so it's local information that is so valuable to us as sales agents and for you, our corn silage customers. I can't actually show you the machine that's used to harvest this particular type of corn silage, just simply because there's some proprietary equipment on the machine that Pioneer just wants to keep as part of their package, and I understand that. Suffice to say, if you saw it from a distance, it's really just a self-propelled John Deere forage harvester, similar type used across the province on many farmers' acres for the purpose of harvesting corn silage. But what are the things that Pioneer considers to be important in corn silage? And believe me, Pioneer is committed to corn silage. There's a lot of corn silage grown across North America, and Pioneer takes that market extremely seriously and continues to work on the type of genetics that we think deliver the most value, whether you're a dairy or a beef producer. So there's really three main things that they glean from silage plots like the one I'm standing in. First are the physical characteristics of each and every corn hybrid. Roots, stalks, leaf orientation, disease resistance, those physical characteristics that are consistent across locations. Each genetic family or each hybrid has a degree of consistency regardless of environment. Just like as you dairymen know, when you walk into your barns, you can spot families of cows based on their genetic linkage and know how they have kind of similar characteristics regardless of the situation they're in. Same in corn hybrids. That type of stuff, the physical characteristics, strongly genetically linked, relatively easy to catalog. The second thing, of course, is total forage yield. I mean, land is expensive. You can't ignore yield. It's critical to the economic success of whether you're a dairy or a cash cropper. And in corn silage, the biggest contributor to yield is grain, or starch in the language of corn silage. 55% on today's modern corn hybrids, 55%, maybe 57% is actually contributed to by grain. And over time, over the last number of years, the way corn silage yields have actually increased is by increased percentage of grain as a total part of that forage yield. Obviously, this grain is extremely valuable, provides a very economical source of energy to the ruminant animal, and so grain yield is tracked. Grain yield, while somewhat dependent on and influenced by genetics, it's also obviously, as we all know, influenced by environment. You'll get, depending on weather, cold, dry, hot, wet, sandy soils, clay soils, there obviously yield does vary from location to location. But you know this, that good, strong, grain yielding, high yielding hybrids will tend to be still at the upper 10-15% of the class, regardless of environment. So yes, environment has an impact on yield, but there still is a genetic component to it. Lastly, forage, Norton fiber digestibility is what I was trying to spit out there. Fiber digestibility. Companies like to yak about the fiber digestibility and their silage specific types of hybrids as if it's something that magically they can snap their fingers and make happen. There is only one type of genetics that consistently across all environments has superior fiber digestibility. That is the BMR family. Pioneer's working with BMRs for that very reason. They have the ability and the genetic component that delivers improved fiber digestibility. BMRs do. The trick with BMRs is getting them from the seed into the feed bunk, and that's a whole nother story. But there are farms across North America that can benefit from the use of brown midrib hybrids for silage. And Pioneer is breeding brown midribs. But once you get out of brown midribs into more conventional corn, whether they're silage specific, dual purpose grain hybrids, what have you, the range of fiber digestibility due to genetics is extremely small. The influence of environment on fiber digestibility is extremely large. You can take the same hybrid, grow it under 10 different situations, and its fiber digestibility will go up and down like a yo-yo. Far more influenced by environment than it is influenced by genetics. So knowing that, yes, we look at, and Pioneer does look at fiber digestibility, and the little tiny differences that we find tend to slide hybrids into that silage chart recommendation. But really, at the end of the day, you can take any good grain yield hybrid and make excellent corn silage out of it, because remember, the grain is the power of corn silage. Fiber is important, but because the environment swings it so much, it's a difficult thing to predict and dial in. Your nutritionist has to work with essentially what comes out of the field, and they're a talented group. I know they can do and work their magic to make rations that produce the type of milk, the type of beef, and the amount that you're looking for. So those are the things we look at. Those are the characteristics on corn silage that we think are important. Obviously characteristics, physical characteristics, grain yield, starch yield, and the third, fiber digestibility. It's a complicated, painstaking, extremely expensive process, but we think we deliver the value in that regard. And thanks very much for paying attention today.